Thanks to a suggestion by an ex-Operation Raleigh venturer, Lana Wedmore, who owns the lovely Lunar Lodge in the OSA Peninsula on the Pacific coast of Costa Rica, an expedition was undertaken with the approval of the Scientific Exploration Society. The aim was to carry out biological and community aid tasks to support the Corcavodo Park and the Coletti Council. We are now at the Hotel Posada Canal Grande, which is in a suburb of San Jose, Costa Rica. And this is where we're assembling the expedition before going down to the OSA Peninsula, which is on the Pacific coast, where we shall run our expedition. This is a pretty luxurious place to start in, and very comfortable indeed, as you can see. We've even got a swimming pool here with very pleasantly cool water, and the team have been working this morning on the stores and also some paperwork, and we're about to have a very good lunch of fish, I believe. Well, here we've got Shirley, who has been completing the postcards that we send to all the supporters and sponsors of the expedition. And now she's writing up her notes and getting ready for the exit tomorrow.
Yes, and my notes say that today we've seen a dead red-tailed boa constrictor. It wasn't as frightening as it sounded, it was only quite a squash thing. And also I've just written down malachite butterfly on the windowsill, so we started, we're on the way.
Well, that's it, a dead boa constrictor and a butterfly.
It's a very good start, actually.
Would you rather meet in the streets?
Right.
Here is Richard, engineer, who is going to accompany us. That's going to be in the bridge. And our American lady, Villa, she came from Bolivia. She lives in Bolivia.
I found a new book.
Yeah, very good.
Another book on birds.
Yeah, did you bring it or you got
No,
it
I
here?
got it today.
Oh,
It's
wonderful.
different than the other one we have, so it'll give us a good variety.
Oh, that's excellent.
And this terrific butterfly park,
Oh, that's fantastic.
on which we were able to identify the malachite butterfly in the window.
Lovely. Very good. Excellent. Thank you.
You know, this account is definitely not, he will ruin your program.
Now here our doctor, Jane Orr.
You know, and are you a psychologist? No, I'm a GP. So, of course, the
Our
program
quartermaster,
lasts 2 weeks, and the whole thing,
who's Tom Gallagher.
had to finish because he was the one who does not.
We've been buying things.
That's beautiful.
Is that going to go in the
That's for Christian, one of my grandchildren.
Say it's not.
Then he has the turtle in the middle. Our turtle man.
It's got a turtle on it, John. Look.
Aha! Very good. Their type of bird of the paradise.
The Corcavodo Park covers much of the wild, untouched OSA Peninsula. Tucked away on the Pacific coast in southwestern Costa Rica, this is one of the country's most unique and attractive areas. The park covers over 42,000 hectares, with the last tropical rainforests of the Mesoamerican Pacific area. Its location, climatic conditions and topography combine to provide an amazing diversity of habits. As a result, there exists a great many biological species. The botany is spectacular, and among the fauna of the park are endangered species such as scarlet macaw, peccary, anteaters, sloths, tapir, and different primates, as well as 5 species of cat, including jaguar. It is an ornithologist's paradise. 4 species of sea turtle lay their eggs on the virgin jungle fringed beaches, and the expedition will be involved in helping with the protection of the newly hatched youngsters. A timber footbridge was to be built to improve access to the park, and jungle trails would be surveyed and signed. The expedition would also distribute books to schools and reading glasses to the indigenous people. Working with the park staff, members will carry out studies of the wildlife. One of the earliest visitors to this area was the legendary British explorer Sir Francis Drake, who came here with his flagship, the Golden Hind, in 1579. In 1979, 400 years after Drake's visit, I erected a plaque on a cairn on the coast commemorating the visit of the great explorer, and it's still there to this day. At our hotel, we loaded all the stores that had been purchased in San Jose by Yalima.
But at least taking out stores and food, and everyone is participating. Hello! Here is Lorenz and our Dr. Jane. And Coronel, the Colonel. And Ian.
Just whiskey.
Oh, just whiskey. Oh, fantastic. We're going to have fun.
You just hold on to it there. Don't put too much.
Really, this is all your hard work in boxes.
That's right.
In the hotel, we then had our final briefing. After we reached the hostel with a small party into the reservation and unload the stores in Mariano's hut. So and then that party will come back to the hostel.
How far is that?
Sorry?
How far is that?
Laundry and anything else they've had. I also hand in the keys. It's a bit embarrassing to a porter in is invited got the key in the room because there's not really a post office to send it back. The route down is 300 kilometres, and you can actually see the main road on this map. Been up part of it, and the oil has been down it as well. You leave, put a sterilizer still in it if you need to, so that we've got plenty of water because it's going to get hotter, and we're dropping down from 3,000 feet above sea level here to 0. Setting out on our journey to Corcavodo, we passed a river where there was a mass of American crocodiles. These are a different species to the caiman that we would see later on, and they can grow up to 3 meters in length and are pretty dangerous. As we approached the Corcavodo area, we came across a white-nosed coati that did not seem very concerned by us. At La Palma, we checked in at a local hostel and then started to move stores to the Guayami village. Alas, we could not get the bus over the suspension bridge, so we had to move everything on by 4-wheel drive before returning to the hostel for the night.
Straight down this hill to the bottom, turn around.
Here is our team to cross the bridge walking on foot. because
It's empty, huh? Yeah. Because the weather. That's what for.
It is.
Surely right.
Nee, te kan ik daar gewoon niet voor. Een 3-bedroom joh.
another heavy.
If he had any planking, too long. Well, he must have those houses. So he must
Oh, sorry, good morning.
How are you doing? Doing okay. Our last civilized breakfast.
Yes, last civilised breakfast, but you know, this is what we're all looking forward to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Getting stuck in. So
Perfect.
I'll enjoy my coffee and then we'll push on and
Perfect.
get on with it.
Yes. Where are we going today?
We are going to the Guayami reservation, where we're going to assist the locals in provision of dental and medical support. While the other guys are going to disappear off somewhere and do something else.
Excellent. Yeah.
Looking forward to this.
Yes. Perfect.
We've now arrived in La Palma at Lapa Roja Lodge, where they made us very comfortable last night. And in spite of a heavy rainstorm, we all slept pretty well. And today is the 4th of July, Independence Day. So one American member is celebrating, and we're now moving off to Mariano's village in the reservation, about half an hour from here. With the Guayami, we've got a series of tasks, including, of course, the medical and dental work, mapping the village for the people so that they have a proper plan of their village, helping in the school with school books, mapping some of the trails, and also we're going to look at the state of some of the bridges going in. They were pretty hair-raising last night when we went in, and undoubtedly they could do with some work too. So it's 4 days of intensive work before we move on to karate.
Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Yeah, excellent. You are putting here your tent
Yes.
at the entrance. You will be like the guard of the village.
The century.
The century.
Centurion.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
It's a lovely sight.
That is Mark. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Ollie.
Very good. Your tent is already up.
That was a fine time to turn up when I've already finished.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, you
Why
are.
not come earlier and give me a hand?
Oh my goodness, sorry about it.
Well,
But this is
well, I
a
think
lovely,
it might
nice
be the
day.
Ritz, but it's
Yeah.
perfectly good enough.
Yeah, it's the rainy season, Mark.
It is, and for several months I understand.
Yeah, wow.
That,
It's just
and
starting.
It's unpredictable as well. It's very local. So there may be a storm predicted and you don't get it, but nearby they do. So
That's
it's,
right.
It's just one of those things.
That's right.
To work with it.
Yeah, what do you expect about working with the Guayami?
Well, looking forward to it because I've done a little bit of research about the tribe. I know something about them and very, very little about their language. But they're an interesting community because their communities are based on kinship,
Oh,
as I understand. So
Yes.
everyone we find in the village will have some relation to other members of the community.
Mm-hmm.
And my particular task while we're here is to survey the village,
Mm-hmm.
produce a schematic sketch, it won't be more than that, of
Yeah,
the
that's
location
right.
of roads and facilities, houses and so on. And I guess from that it'll be a useful resource then for the village in promoting its ecotourism.
Yes, that's wonderful.
So,
Yeah, very
We
good
hope that
start.
works for them.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark, for being with us.
All mod cons conservatory, which I'm in the process of installing, and it's a tent for 3 people. so I should be comfortable.
Yes. How many are you going to have?
Well, one. But all my luggage, you know, my jewelry, my makeup.
Yeah, I can see your jewelry.
So this is it. I'm very proud of this.
Oh, it's coming here. Perfect. Welcome to Guayami Reservation, as they call Aguas Ricas.
Yeah, I think I've got a hammock for one. Hammock for one reservation, I think.
Perfect.
Shirley, there's a room with 2 beds, which you're welcome to use if you'd like to.
Well, thank you. Can I try out my tent?
Yes, of course we may.
Had a wonderful ride.
Our host here was the Chief Mariano, chief of the local Guayami people.
Hola, David.
Hola.
How are you? Muy bien. How are you?
Bien, estamos empezando el día.
Yeah, perfecto. We are starting the day.
Yeah, todo bien.
Yeah, excelente. That is the last ride, or there is something else to come from La Palma?
No, nobody more.
Nobody more?
Everybody is in the place now.
Is in the place, and what about the stores?
Well,
all the boxes are here?
Yeah, everything is in here. You know, the food, the store, the water,
Lovely.
The medical things.
Excellent. Oh, David, where are you from?
Well, I'm from the Central Valley. So my family is coming from the Mora town. My surname is Mora because we're coming from the Wetar people Indian.
Yeah, here in Costa Rica.
Yes.
Excellent.
Isn't it?
Oh, happy 4th of July, everyone.
Okay, excellent. Nice to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
On our first night with the Guayami, Chief Mariano told us the history of his people.
At that time when he came, this was not an indigenous reservation. Non-indigenous people were living here, but it was a company here that was an American company. They called Gringo Company.
Next day, we distributed reading glasses that had been collected in Britain.
We are trying glasses in order to read. It's a very young chap who would like to wear glasses.
Then Yoli talked to the children about the importance of wildlife conservation. These are the children from the Guayami Primary School who come here to take part in a little competition that we're organizing, and they have to draw a turtle, or several turtles, on a river. And then they get a prize of a turtle puppet, and some of them also get a hula hoop, which they're rather good at using. The exercise books and the pencils and rubbers and rulers have been provided through the SES as a grant, and we've also got some medicines for the local people. The hula hoops have been provided by a young man who works in the Hotel Canal Grande, where we stayed at the start of the exhibition. In the hope of attracting eco-tourists, Mariano has made some jungle paths, and we found one of them that had an extraordinary carving.
This is 6 years old with the irregular.
Esta es la cara de la foto.
Sí.
I think what we need to do, Chris, is you to stand one side, and
how wide is it, Chris?
So 39.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's 50. 556.
Okay.
The god of the forest god. On a face of rock, or maybe it's clay, which of course in the rain forms a waterfall. We're not sure how or when this carving was made, but it's certainly a magnificent bit of work by whoever did it. Our Royal Air Force dentist, Ian McCarthy, was soon hard at work.
25.
35.
Me dolía, entonces lo mandé, lo fui, me chequeé, entonces hace tiempo.
¿Cuánto? Este bajo de aquí. A ver. ¿Cuánto grande?
Actually, it's made with chair.
It's not so much sugar and cavities and holes, but more gum disease from not brushing correctly around the mouth. So the good thing is he doesn't have a lot of holes in his teeth, because so he doesn't have so much sugar maybe, but he doesn't brush his gums properly, and as a result he has some gum disease.
Okay. Su problema no es mucho azúcar, el problema es con sus dientes, es el problema con la carne de vaca.
Jane Orr, our doctor, was also pretty busy.
How was this morning for the medical assistance to the Guayami?
The morning was quiet, though it was still quite worrying, and the number of people I saw whose diet is obviously so poor that they're getting diseases like angina and gallstones, which are meant to be Western diseases. I'm still very worried about the diet and the lack of fruit here, and the amount of public health that needs to be done to taught them how to eat.
Mark Entwistle had a lucky escape when a falling tree almost hit his tent. Termites had eaten through the base of the trunk.
To where Mark Entwistle was sleeping. So incredibly lucky escape.
After 4 days, we moved on to karate for our next project. At karate, we made a new base camp at the Shady Lane Church and soon found that it had plenty of snakes. We have a little snake that has fallen out of the palm, and Chris has looked at it with his book. He thinks it's a false further north, but non-venomous. So we're now going to take it away and release it somewhere away from the camp. Directed by the resident biologist Phoebe Edge, we started work at the turtle hatchery.
Ah, what a wonderful day. And I understand that those signs are for mentioning the sponsors, right?
Yeah, so each nest has a number, which is what we use to collect the data with, so we can monitor that nest. And then to raise money for the project, we have an adopt a nest scheme. So people pay $25 and they can name a nest. And we send them information about their nest. So like this one, for example, was called Charlotte. But you can name your nest whatever you want. So you see there's some really weird names too.
Yeah, oh, I can imagine, I can see that. So far, how many eggs we have so far in the hatchery?
The hatchery opens the start of August, and we'll have, and we'll have up to 150 nests in there.
Okay, oh, 150 nests.
Yeah, and you imagine each nest usually has around 100 eggs in.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're hoping to have a lot of babies.
Yes, I'm sure. And when do you release them?
When they hatch. So as soon as they hatch, we get the babies out, put them in buckets and put them on the beach so they walk down the beach by themselves.
Yeah.
They have to walk by themselves because if they don't, they might not know where to come back to later in life. They need that initial walk down the beach.
Do you frighten away the birds that might come down?
She does.
Who does?
Keela does.
Oh, I see.
The eggs are brought here by the volunteers under Phoebe and are replanted in the fenced enclosure, as you can see, and allowed to hatch. Once they are hatched, the baby turtles are very carefully taken to the high water mark, and then they have to be allowed to walk the 20 or 30 meters into the sea. The reason for this is if they don't walk that distance, they don't know where to come back to, and that's important because obviously they have to return here, at least the females do, to lay more eggs for the future.
They are screening the sand in order to take out all the crabs and dirt, maybe plastics, because the eggs of the turtles will be laying down there.
We're now at the turtle hatchery on the beach at Karate, and Richard is sifting the sand to get rid of all the bits of growth, crabs, pebbles and so on, to make it nice and clean and easy for the turtles to breed.
Richard, have you found any crabs or any dirt
no
so far?
Crabs, but lots of old weeds and dead weeds, grass and stuff like that. No crabs so far.
What am I doing? Well, each number has a sponsor for I believe about a year, and so the names of last year's sponsors are just being, so to speak, obliterated, and then the new name for the next year will be put on top of this perfect sign. So that's number 100 sponsor, and here we've got to do all this, and then they get it left to dry, and it's a very good scheme. And it's, the children are not too keen to help in case they get paint on their precious clothes.
So this is one of the most productive hatcheries in the area, and a great credit to the people in Karate who are staffing it, nearly all of whom are volunteers. Now down on the beach, Jane and Laurent are filling sandbags to create a barrier around the hatchery in a form of protection for the turtles' eggs. In the forest, Chris Kershaw spotted a collared anteater known as a tamandua. On the Karate River, we found the local gold diggers at work. They're only permitted to use hand-operated pans. And this shows a month's collection of gold by 2 men working flat out. At current prices, that gold's worth about £1,000. Because we couldn't get our permission to use a local fallen tree, the wretched owner of the tree wouldn't give it up even though the park department wanted it, we had to get some alloy girders which the park department had to pay for, and these had to be cut to size under Gary Gomez's supervision.
This is done, now the other one.
Tom is now cleaning the surface of the beams which are going to be painted before they're transported to the bridge site. We use an old United States Army truck to move the girders to the bridge site.
The idea is to take them today to the site of the bridge.
And we also loaded up timber for the bridge. This is the first load of timber going to the bridge site on the Luana Trail with a working party to put in the bank seats. Hopefully the road bearers will arrive tomorrow once the negotiations with the landowner have been completed.
¿Desde dónde vienen? Ajá.
Use the horse and cart to take equipment and materials along to the bridge we're going to construct, timber bridge we're going to construct, about 2.5 kilometres from here.
We're now loading the timber for the grillages. We're going to build the most difficult one today, cut the long timbers tomorrow. Once we have them on site, we can then be exact for the far side grillage, and the bridge will be able to be built. We will then deck it by Wednesday and the bridge will be complete.
This is a lovely day, Mark.
Beautiful.
Yeah, perfect.
A bit cloudy, but spectacular nonetheless.
Yes,
Always spectacular.
Yeah, and actually great because it won't be too hot to work on the
exactly
on the beach, on the bridge.
We won't get much done today. There's a limited amount we can do because of the absence of the big beams.
Yeah,
we can only work on one side today.
Yeah, do you remember how long are the big beams?
Well, we're not sure. They should be around 10 or 11 meters, but until we know what the exact length is, we won't know where to create the second grillage.
Yeah.
Because it might be too short.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll be either here tomorrow or cut tomorrow so that we can know the lengths, and then maybe tomorrow we can start on the second grillage. So.
All right. Excellent. Thank you. This carreton has to do 2 trips. Otherwise the load is going to be too much.
This horse and cart, or carreton as it's called, was used for local deliveries to the park stations further down in the park. As road vehicles are not permitted on the pristine beach, we had to use the local horse and cart. And this was to carry the girders at least a couple of kilometres along that beach.
Being loaded.
We measured the gap as 10 metres. That's the actual span, and what we've done is build up one side, a grid for foundation to support the beams, and there'll be another one on the other side, but in order to be doubly sure that they're in the right place, we've built one first, then brought the beams to site. We'll double check the measurements and then build the other one. So we should get the beams on today, hopefully.
John, any question?
One of the things about this bridge is it's actually level at either side, which makes it relatively straightforward to build. Most of the gaps on this trail are actually different levels at each side, and that will be quite slightly more complex in actually coming up with a solution for the bridge. Each bridge is approximately 1.5 metres wide, and that actually allows access for all, including wheelchairs.
When we needed a bit of refreshment, Gary collected some local rations. The wildlife showed absolutely no concern about our presence. Base camp at Shady Lane, as it's known, or some people call it Feu de Lance Lane, after a particularly nasty snake, and there are certainly plenty of snakes here, and we're camped under these tall palms, surrounded by monkeys and this beautiful scarlet macaw that come over making noise like raucous crows. The other noises we have around us, well, we have the noise of nuts dropping from the palms onto the tin roof of the church. How Shirley gets any sleep at night, I don't know. During the night there were quite a lot of animals moving around in the undergrowth. Last night we heard what I think probably were a small herd of peccary, and in fact our cook Daisy saw some, as she said, little pigs looking at her from the bushes. We have a big tapir that I haven't seen, but he's apparently come into the camp once or twice. Shirley Critchley, at 82, was our senior member, and she was always pretty busy.
Perfect. Like, have a very good time. See you at the bridge. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you at the bridge. Bye.
And even taught the children to play badminton. Back at the bridge site, the work was pressing on.
Cholo, lleve la planta para allá 8 veces la extensión.
Thus the bridge was completed and opened at a ceremony by Lana Wedmore with some champagne from Luna Lodge in the middle of a pouring rainstorm. Twice a year there is a rubbish collecting event held on the beach. This is organised by Lana, the owner of Luna Lodge, and does a wonderful job in cleaning up this particular area. You may wonder where the rubbish comes from. In fact, it's all swept in from the ocean. None of it is from the local people.
Ayudar la comunidad con los dentistas y doctores y también hicieron un puente, ¿ok? Entonces, muchas gracias y vamos a tener un almuerzo increíble aquí.
The expedition ended with our traditional burn supper, serving Staley's haggis, which had been brought from Scotland, and here are Chris Kershaw and Tom Gallagher in his usual role. Our grateful thanks go to Itilma Morales and indeed all the staff from the Corcavodo Park, to Lana Wedmore and the staff of the Lunar Lodge, and to Gary Gomez and Yolima, and Marcus and Gabby Wehrmeister, and of course to Phoebe Edge, who looks after the turtle hatchery.